I have posted my Google number. First of all, I want to thank my supporters right up front. I did post my Google number in there, area code 313-466-4403. You can contact me after 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm available to talk to you. I'm a very social person. Today, we're going to be talking about the final road skills evaluation. What is it? What are they looking for? What to expect? I wanted to thank a few of my, obviously, my supporters, countries who are looking at my content, the United States, uh, Taiwan, Greece, Croatia, Portugal, uh, uh, Switzerland, Saudi Arabia, Malaysia, Turkey, Russia, Indonesia, South Korea, Brazil, just to name a few. So let's go ahead and get into it. This is Driving with Myles. I'm a state certified instructor. I've been teaching teens and adults 21 years, and it's a blessing. I love teaching people how to drive, seeing them become independent. And if you're a teen and you're learning how to drive, digest this content. If you are someone coming to the United States or wanting to know how to drive, look at my content, ask questions. I do reply. So let's get into this evaluation process. It's going to be a minimum of a half an hour. If the instructor has to intervene in a maneuver that could cause possible failure, right? Intervening means that they have to grab the wheel to turn it to avoid a collision. Um, do you disobey regulatory signs, a speed limit sign, a yield sign? If you disobey those signs, you're going to end up failing your test or possibly pulling out in front of oncoming traffic. Are you speeding 10 or more over the speed limit? You don't necessarily have to get a warning. That could cause failure. Are you performing a dangerous maneuver? Pulling out in front of traffic, not waiting for a proper gap. And a gap is a space between two cars. Do you strike an object? That could be a curb, that could be a car, heaven forbid, that could be a pedestrian, right? But are you striking anything? Do you fail to yield? You're coming to a T intersection. You have a yield sign because you're going on the straight part of the road up to the T, and the main road is the road without the yield sign. Do you fail to yield? Those are some of the common things. Let's get into stopping starting skills. Is your acceleration smooth, or are you slamming the gas? If you're slamming the gas, you're going to jerk the vehicle. If you're driving a manual, and I know my brothers and sisters in the UK, you're driving manuals. I know how to drive a manual too. Are you lifting that clutch up too fast and the car's lunging forward? Right, that takes practice, that takes time. Do you have controlled emergency braking? A kid runs out, a deer runs out, someone's backing up. Um, do you know how to control and have that controlled stop under control, right? Or are you swerving left, swerving right, and the rear end is moving back and forth? You really need to practice some of those panic stops. Is your stopping smooth, all right? Are you squeezing that brake real smooth and easy? Or are you just slamming it without understanding there's a car behind you, there's a truck behind you, your examiner is going back and forth in the seat, right? You're sending the wrong message. So you want to send a good message. Let's talk about backing straight, turning skills, which are huge questions that I have. Um, do you have proper vehicle control when backing up straight? You want to have your left hand on top of the steering wheel. Okay, use my example. Left hand on top of the steering wheel, and your right hand goes on the seat. Are you looking over your shoulder? If you have a driver, the steering wheel on the right, it's opposite. You have to look out of your back window, right? I want all of you to hit your learning targets, right? That's what it's all about. It's all about success. And I need you to have success. Because I'm an educator, that's what I talk about, hitting that target, hitting success, right? If you don't know, I'm a state certified instructor. I've been teaching 21 years in the driver education area, do road test prep. I teach teens and adults. I started the YouTube channel about in September. I do a lot of YouTube shorts. I do lives once or twice a week. I post a lot of content. I'm up to 400 pieces of content. So whatever you need to work on, look at it, digest it, leave comments and questions. Let's keep going. When you turn, and we're talking about the final road skills evaluation. When you turn, are you overturning, meaning you're turning so fast, you're going to go over the curb. You're going to upset the balance of the car. If you turn too short, you're going to go over the curb. When I teach my students, you want to get the front end of the car up to the edge of the street. You want to look left, right, and left, and then you turn smoothly hand over hand. There are different theories on hand over hand, a hand to hand. Leave comments on what you've learned. So steering is important. Do you search and check your mirrors? Are you checking your inside mirror? Are you checking your left? Are you checking your right? If you don't have those set up in your pre-drive checklist, you're going to lose points. So it's really important that you have that set. Let's talk about visual search. Are you identifying targets? A target be someone backing up out of the driveway, a kid running across the street, the teddy bear running across the street, right? If you haven't done so, my YouTube channel is right up here, Driving with Myles. Go ahead and subscribe to it. Leave some comments. Give it a thumbs up. Let's keep going. Are you accelerating smoothly? Are you slamming that gas and the car lunges forward? If you're driving a manual, you're in first gear, you let that clutch up and then you hit the gas, the car's going to lunge forward. You have to demonstrate vehicle control, right? That is the key to successfully passing your test is vehicle control, right? Again, are you searching mirrors? If you're making a lane change to the left, mirror, turn signal, blind spot, you have to have that sequence. You have to be consistent. You've got to check your blind spot. If you don't, you're going to be marked down. And then if you cut off a car, that's a dangerous maneuver, and that could force the examiner to terminate the test. We also talked about examining and looking at searching 15 to 20 seconds. Are you able to see lights changing? People walking across the intersection, someone getting ready to run the light. I like my students to have those advanced visual skills where they're really looking ahead. They're really aiming high. They're checking to see what's going on. And when my students do that, I feel safe, I feel secure. And that's really important that you make that examiner feel secure and feel safe. Do you turn your head to identify targets before you turn? Meaning if I'm getting to the left lane, I want to look. I want to check my mirror, or are you just going to go over? So you have to teach those skills. You have to practice those skills. Do you check your mirrors regularly? Every 12 to 15 seconds, I should see you looking up, checking your mirrors. Don't be scared to turn your head. Look, breathe. Let's talk about steering. Great teachable moment. Do you have your hands at 9 and 3, 10 and 2? You really want to have good control. I have really large hands, so if I make the wheel small, I'm going to turn really fast. So I want to have my hands spread out. This is a specialized drag racing steering wheel for my 68 Camaro. More on that later, but this is great demonstration. We know the airbag is in the middle, so you want to have a good control. You want to relax your arms and turn smoothly into the turn. And once the car is out, you turn out hand over hand or hand to hand or whatever your instructor relies on you. And again, we want to hit what? Our learning target, because we're about success. I want you to be successful. How do you time it if the light sometimes changes? So what you want to do is look ahead and look at the crosswalk indicator. Some have countdown timers. And if they're on a 5, 4, 3, you know that light's getting ready to change. A lot of beginning drivers don't have good speed control. They're plus or minus 5 to 7 miles an hour. Great question. So you have to learn to have good speed control. You can get marked down if you have poor speed control. So that's extremely important. Great question. You never want to try to run a light, because if you do, that potentially could cause failure in your test. And a lot of beginning drivers just don't have the timing to get up to speed, to maintain speed. The speed limit is 55. You're driving at 50. You're driving at 45. So now you're going to have to chase cars speeding. You're going to see a light changing and you're wondering, oh my God, I'm at 45 miles an hour. The light's changing. I don't want to slam my brakes, so you run a yellow light. Error. Next, you're driving at 45 or 47. The speed limit is 55. The light just changed. You're 2 cars away. You can't stop really hard. You go through the light, turns red, failure. So you have to learn to keep your pace up. Great question. Please give it a thumbs up. I do appreciate that. Using proper hand position when backing, meaning your hand is at the top of the wheel. Let's demonstrate with the steering wheel. Your hand is at the top of the wheel. In North America, most of our drivers, our steering columns are on the left. So your left hand is at the top. You put your right hand on your seat and you're looking over your shoulder out of your back window. From what I've been reading, they're not going to allow you to use your backup camera. So the best backup camera are these beautiful eyes, right? So use what you've been given. Uses a push-pull technique effectively. So certain evaluations, push-pull. Other evaluations, hand over hand. Use hand over hand appropriately. So there are different methods. The hand over hand, you're turning hand over hand into the turn, you turn out hand over hand. If you let the wheel spin, you could lose control. Turning hand to hand, I don't find that effective, but I was taught hand over hand, and I've been watching a lot of things from my brothers and sisters in the UK. And please jump in. Hello, Mary, how are you? We're talking about final road skills evaluation. Feel free to leave some comments, give it a thumbs up. I posted the Google number up there. You can reach me after 3 p.m. because I'm very friendly, I'm very interactive, and I want to bring you value. Don't ask for what you want because you might get it, but I do want to be the number one person talking about driver's education in the world. So I'm taking step by step. I'm trying to take my region first. So we're talking about hand over hand, Mary. If you just got here, hand over hand versus hand to hand. We have our model steering wheel from my 68 Camaro. It's a specialized steering wheel, but hand over hand into the turn and hand over hand out of the turn. Some instructors teach hand to hand, which is fine. There's some great channels on the internet, and I've really been looking, and I want to do a collaboration. So any of you know, Drivers Ed Company Corporation wants to reach out to me, please. Okay, so let's talk about turns, meaning left turns. You're going to make minimum of 2 left turns, 2 right turns. You might be able to go through a roundabout if it's available, right? And there are more and more roundabouts in North America, as well as our brothers and sisters in the UK. So you have to yield before you go into the roundabout, looking left and right. And if you're making a right, you got to turn on a right turn signal. If you're making a left, you got to turn on a left turn signal. If you're going straight through the roundabout, you proceed, but you must yield. So the left turns, are you selecting the best lane? The best lane is the nearest lane. Okay, if you're making a left turn and you're right by that double yellow, how to make a good left turn, because I turned left, I ran over the yellow line. So Mary, what you're doing, you're cutting that turn short. In your turn, I know you love steering wheel. In your turn, you're turning so fast. Turn smoothly. Go into the turn a little slower. And once you see that double yellow from your left eye, squeeze your brakes, slow us down, and then turn smoothly, hand over hand, into the turn and turn out hand over hand, right? You want to have great steering control, because if you turn in the wrong lane, error. If you turn in the wrong lane and cars are making right turns, that is a area where the teacher, the instructor, has to intervene and grab the wheel. You don't want that, because you're going to lose points. And then that's going to upset your balance. That's going to make the instructor, thank you. That's going to make the instructor. So reduce your speed turning the steering wheel, because I'm very social. Some road testers may not intervene, and they may just mark you down, because that could be potential failure. Right, but we want to talk about success. If you're making a right turn, are you turning in the nearest lane? The nearest lane is to the curb. There are double right turns. There are triple right turns. If you're in the middle right turn lane, stay in that right turn lane until you get out, and then you use your mirror turn signal blind spot, right? Do you use the push-pull? It varies on instructors and what they're teaching you. Next, visualizes and verbalizes an adequate gap. Are you making that left turn unprotected? You have to wait. Are you just cutting in front of cars and you do not yield? That's a dangerous maneuver. Are you yielding to oncoming traffic? And once it's clear in the intersection, you look, you check, cars are coming by, then you turn hand over hand into the turn, right into the proper lane. So if you overturn really fast, you're going to overturn in that lane. If you turn really slow, you won't be able to make that turn properly, and a car could hit you. So it's practice. And I know those left turns are very scary. And what do we want to do? We want to hit our learning target for success. And that's what I teach. I teach success. I'm a school teacher, and I want you to feel value. Next, do you complete the left turn in a proper lane? Let's pretend you turn into the correct lane, but you drift out to the right, cutting over. Minus. You drift to the left, over the double yellow, almost a head-on collision. I've had students do that too. So you want to go in those downtown areas and work those hand-over-hand maneuvers. That is a great question. Let's go ahead and look at some other information here. Controlled and uncontrolled intersections. By far, they are the most dangerous. Do you look, what can I do to get the driver practice because I haven't known to really help? You got to reach out to your cousins, auntie, uncle, and that's really important. So you got to have someone in your family who's over 21 so you can get experience. And I feel you, and I understand that, Mary, 100%. You got to get your practice in because the skills you've learned, you're going to forget. And left turns are timing. Merging on a freeway, timing. Right turns, yielding to traffic, timing. You know how to drive, but timing. And if you have a bad experience, then you're going to be hesitant in making those right and left turns, merging on expressways. So what you're saying is common. Do you look for an open space, or are you just going to pull out? And that's what I mean by timing, and that's dangerous. Is it illegal to drive on my own without an adult? You got to have someone over 21. And you got to document those hours. So it varies on where you live, the state, the county, but you got to have someone there. And if your parents aren't willing, then you got to find auntie, uncle. We all have that favorite uncle. Hey, Mary, come on. I got my Mustang. Let's go. We always have someone like that, right? So seek out your cousins. Do you understand the rules of the right of way? That's another common issue. The first car to get there at the intersection is the first car to leave. If two cars come together at the same time, the car, thank you. Give it a thumbs up, please, and thank you. Two cars come together at the same time, the car on the right. We're in North America. If you drive on the left, it is on the left. Okay, so that's important. Do you stop at the proper position? Thank you. Behind the stop line. The stop line is that big, thick, white line. If you don't, you're going to get marked down. If you stop in the middle of the crosswalk, the front end is there, you're going to get marked down. So that's where I want to go ahead and stop today. I'm a driver's ed instructor. I've been teaching driver's education 21 years. We'll do part 2 tomorrow. We've talked about proper maneuvers to pass your road test. I posted the Google number up there. I'm a state certified instructor. If you love this program, which I hope you do, give it a thumbs up. If you want to reach out to me, I posted my Google number there. I'll leave some comments and ask some questions. I want to say thank you. I love you all and appreciate you. Bye.